Hello, 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 and welcome to the Interracial Alternative. You know how I begin my videos, which is by thanking all of my subscribers, past and present, and asking all of my new visitors or returning viewers to go ahead and click that subscribe button as well as the bell. I'm on the race to get to 1,000. I'm gonna bump that up. I'm on the race to get to 1,000 subscribers. And so I know I can do it with you all. Okay, so I also want to thank lovely Ocean, a subscriber that goes by the name of Ocean, and also Danny Dorito. But I want to thank Ocean for their lovely Cash App donation. It means a lot. It really does mean a lot to us creators or commentators or whatever you want to call us on this platform when you all make monetary donations. And I'll tell you why. Because on this platform you see a lot of people send in a lot of money for all different sorts of reasons, and there's a saying or an idea that Black people or Black content creators who talk about real things or talk about things that actually try to help Black people or the Black community, it falls on deaf ears. We don't get a lot of views. We struggle with the algorithm because no one wants to watch that. Everyone wants to watch who's fighting who ran over who got shot, what rapper's doing this, who got knocked up, who exposed to. They always want to send in money for that, but they don't want to send in money for maybe positive thoughts that a creator may give you, some inspiration, positive inspiration that a creator gives you, and something that maybe a creator said, or some advice that a creator gave you that actually helped to put you on a different path and inevitably change your life. So we see like a lot of those types of creators, myself included, like, you know, we kind of, there's crickets for us. But if we are talking about something that's kind of ratchet and kind of like ghetto and like will not serve the community at all, everyone flocks to that and everyone posted dollars for that. So when we do get a donation, we are extremely, extremely grateful because it means that our content does mean something to you all, okay? All right, so thank you again, Ocean. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, so this video is gonna be a little bit different as well. This video is more of something to make, just to make Black women think. It can make all women think. It can make men think, because I don't think that content has to be for a specific group or for a specific person in order for someone to get something out of it. I think you can get something out of all sorts of different content. So with this video, I want to ask Black women what they feel that being part of the Black collective has, how being part of the Black collective has benefited them. How has holding on to the Black community as we know it and as the world perceives it, how has that been beneficial to your life individually, your life specifically? Now, when I'm saying this, I'm not saying that you're abandoning good people. That's why I don't bash Black men, you know, on this channel, not unless they come at me. Don't come at me. But I'm not a Black male bashing channel, because there's good and there's positivity and there's amazing people of all walks of life. And if you say, well, there's nothing positive of value in this group of people or in this person, you're kind of lying, or you something's wrong with you. So I'm not talking about you abandoning or you having ill will towards people who have actually benefited your life. But as this new Black women empowerment change is sweeping, and it's to the point that it is today in 2022, you know, you now have an opportunity to look back and see. You can take stake. You know, you can look at how you've benefited, what needs to be done, and what else there is to do for you, but for you specifically. And you know, that's really the focus of this video, is just to talk more about how things benefit you individually as a Black woman. Like each individual viewer, not the Black female collective, but you as individual Black women. What do you know what your needs are, and are your needs getting met? And I formulate this video with the thought in mind that it's time that really Black women start to think more individualistic. And I've been mentioning that in my last few videos, the need to really honor yourself and honor who you are and honor your own self-esteem so that you can do necessary things that will benefit your life, and not hold on to things that are dragging you down because you feel like you have to save some sort of collective. And you'll see some of that in my comments. You'll see people who will say, well, what are you doing to further Africans, or what are you doing this and that? Well, you know, my father's African, okay? Me being on a positive path, the way that I live my life is a contribution to Africans. Some would say I'm a wonder, being a stroke survivor and having walked myself through that whole process, you know, and, you know, being able to take charge of my health to get to the point where I am today. I mean, some would even say I'm a wonder in that regards, because we know people, you know, a stroke will take you out. You know, it'll take you out, or it will change you. That left side droop is serious business. You know, it ain't nothing to play with. So, you know, some of people would say that, and being able to convey some information or set up some things later down the line to help people kind of hopefully avoid that whole thing. More on that later. But how I contribute or how I give back is the information that I give on this platform. But actually the information I've been given since the 90s. It's only now today that, you know, it only took about 30 years for people to start listening to me. That's okay. But, you know, I guess it's time for us to really start thinking that, can we benefit a quote unquote Black community, those who want to save the Black community? And that's up to you. I think that's an individual choice. I no longer think that Black women have to be doing something. I think that we're the only race where the Black men are constantly asking us what we're doing to save all of them. And that's weird. That's weird because other races don't have that. Even poorer European countries where women are actually like in the front lines because maybe there's a shortage, or maybe because they just have to help. That's how their government is designed. Those men are still not going back and asking those Ukrainian women or what have you, what are you doing to save the nation? They're not doing that because they know that the nation falls upon the man. But you'll see that a lot of, like, I mean, I've had that happen to me in my comments. What are you doing to do this, or what? It's not for me to do it, and I say that because if the male, who is the foundation of a community, if you don't want to fight, there's nothing to save. You understand that? There is absolutely nothing to save if men won't fight. If men have left the battle, then you have no war. You have nothing to fight for. And I think that a lot of more Black women kind of need to realize that. They keep wanting to fight for something that only a few people may be fighting. Like, you know, there's some good Black men that have schools and things like that you hear about on this very platform, and respect to them. You know, I would never say, well, you know, Black men, and how's that gonna, whatever, that's not this type of channel. However, I do think that if you want to participate in this ongoing Save the Black Community fight or journey, that's a choice. And if you choose to do that, you should be getting something out of it. Everything is based upon reciprocity and being reciprocal. Relationships at their very best and at their very core, whether we like them or not, are based off of reciprocity. I've mentioned that in so many of my videos. And even if you are in this relationship, which each of us individually are, whether we're a Black male or we're a Black female, we each have our own individual relationship to the community at large. And so when you have individuals that have walked away, we have to kind of acknowledge that there are many people who have said, I'm out. And you have to also see, if you're still standing there what are you fighting? You have to know what you're fighting for and what are you getting out of it. And I think that women as a whole, and also Black women, are so used to giving absolutely so much of themselves. I think the thumbnail says it all, actually. If you look at the thumbnail to this video, it says it all. You're so used to giving so much that you have nothing left for yourself. You're emotionally spent with no reserves. You are financially spent with nothing else coming in, no one contributing. You're feeding everyone on a mental, emotional, psychological level, and you're not getting anything back. And that's kind of like the norm for Black women. That is the norm. It's amazing that, more of us aren't kind of, mentally, just impaired because of just that being the state generationally, having to be the ultimate provider on so many levels. Even if you're in a relationship or in a situation where you do have men in your life who do contribute to you, still if you have children, still you are the first feeder, or you are the first provider of life for what comes through your womb. No choice. You have no choice or anything. I don't want to call a baby a parasite. However, I mean, when you create life, it's feeding off of your emotions, it's feeding off of your energy, it's feeding off of the very food that you eat. It's giving you all sorts of hunger and cravings that you've never even had before. Oh, pickle and rice? Oh, I'll try that. And some of you all know all this weird sort of thing, but it's feeding off of you. And that's, like I said, that's just the life that you are giving. That's not to mention or to talk about the life that is external from you, other people, other lives that come to you and drain you and feed off of you. You understand what I'm saying? So that's something else that Black women have to really start to analyze. Are you being fed? You're struggling, you're carrying the Black man, you're carrying the Black community, you're carrying rights, you're trying to march, you're trying to do all this, and why? What are you getting back? You're in a deficit, okay? Black women are in a deficit. We're trying to catch up now as a whole. Black women are trying to catch up now. I'm surprised we don't die first with everything that we're, expending out. You gotta, wonder about that. I mean, with all the energy that we expend as far as health, psychologically, emotionally, that we don't die first, that we're not the ones really catching all of the diseases first. I guess it's by the grace of God, or grace of whatever you believe. However, that's something to think about too. Are you being fed? How are you being fed? How are you getting your energy replenished? And all the relationships that you have, especially the group ones, how are you being fed back? Because I tell you, like I always tell you, I'm out here in the world, and it is so easy for relationships to flip on a dime as to where you become the host, and people, be it friends, whatever, relationships start feeding off of you. You start giving so much, and then you have other people just put their feet up and be like, oh, such and such will get to it. No worry, Abby will get to it. No worry. Oh, they'll take care of it. Oh, when they get sick, they expect you to call them. When they're hungry, they expect you to provide. Or when they just decide they want to come around, oh, no worries, I can crash at Abby's place. I can do this, I can do that. Abby got it. But when it comes time for your needs to be met, do they have you? You understand what I'm saying? And I'm saying this, you have to look at this at every single corner, every single turn. It's time. It's time for you to look at every single turn, because what about your goals? What about your life? What about your hobbies? And it's like you meet people, like I noticed that, like, you talk to a lot of other Black women, unless they have like strong hobbies or crafts or skills that have been cultivated since birth, they may not even have any hobbies. And it's not a bad thing. It's just the fact that they haven't had time to have hobbies because they've been rescuing everybody else. They've been trying to march. They've been angry. You've been taking on other people's anger for problems that aren't your own. You've been feeding kids that aren't your own. You've been nourishing people emotionally who haven't given you any nourishment, any love, any affection. All that stuff weighs on you, And at what point Do you say, I'm gonna look out for me? And I think that I don't think it, I know it, that in the Black community, Black women have this thing as to where if you look at yourself, if you want to do something for yourself, immediately you are like denigrated. You want to do some, oh, buy a nail polish. You don't need that nail polish. Oh, you want to have treat yourself to, I don't know, it could be Haagen-Dazs. Oh, you don't need that ice cream. You might want to do something nice for your hair, get your hair done. Why she getting her hair done? She must be taking that money from her kids. Why she getting her nails done? She must be taking that money from her kids. Then you have men talking about, well, even though you're taking care of his kids, he's all like, well, my money, my child support is going to her getting her hair and her nails done. So you don't get anything, okay? Nothing is left allotted for you until you start to take it. And this is the conversation that Black women need to have. You need to start taking. You need to start taking for yourself. I'm not talking about robbing stores and robbing banks.
We're not talking about that. No, I ain't talking about that.
We are talking about replenishing yourself, or even cutting people off. Cutting people off. Stop being that extra nice person to people. It could, example. I have a thing about if I have a relationship, or if I have a friendship and we don't hate each other, like they didn't steal from me or whatever, I like to keep the lines open, and I like to keep the blood very, good blood. I like to have good blood. I don't like bad blood, because there's very few circumstances where you need to have them. However, keeping energetic lines open to some people, whether you use them or not, can be draining to you on an energetic, spiritual level, on a subconscious level that you're not even aware of. Sometimes it's good to kind of cut people off, delete numbers. Not that you hate them, not that you're mad at them, but just so you can kind of build up your own energy bubble for yourself. And like I said, I know a lot of Black women just don't do that when we try and do anything for ourselves. It's like, you taking it from your baby. What about this? You only think about yourself. What about him? What about dinner? Are you gonna make dinner? Are you gonna do this? You understand what I'm saying? But nobody's massaging your feet at the damn end of the night. No one's reading your ass a bedtime story. Nobody's, making you a martini extra dirty with a few blue cheese olives in it at the end of the night. You have to think about that. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna end this video, okay? I think I've said enough, and this could just be a part one. Like I said, this is to get Black women to start thinking about their individuality and the things that they need, things that are going to feed your self-esteem, your self-interest, your own legacy. We tend to think of legacy in the terms of men, but women have legacies too. What about your legacy? What about all your dreams? What about all that you wanted to do? Okay, that people just kind of snatched those years away, and so now you ain't got nothing for yourself. A lot to think about. Thanks for watching.